And I'm supposed to say something about the horizon, the future horizon. When we talk on the infrastructure, on the corridors, on the supply chains up to today, we must respect that this is a very huge and extremely expensive technology. But it's obvious nothing can exist without the technological supported disruption of the existing model, and the full transformation is something what should be well understood, well prepared, well managed, and of course implemented on the competitive way. So the abstract of my presentation here actually talks about the supply chains, transforming supply chains. When we talk about the chain, we understand that there is a sequential sequence of rings linked together, and that is the chain, the sequence of the rings. But today, it's not the chain, it's the network. And what I'm going to talk about is the transformation of chains, or linking chains by each and every dimension in time, in space, in competition, in whatever, and transforming the chain in some new entity known as the digital or digital twin of supply chains in real time or almost real time. Who are the main enablers for such a disruption? Not only the emerging technologies, but the enabling technologies. And the new term of cyber-physical system, and we have seen some instances in the intelligent transportation system, used by the Internet of Things, and not only Internet of Things, is just enabling that disruption and that transformation of chain into the network, of the node into the intelligent node, on the reasoning into the network reasoning system based on such instances of enabling technologies. So up till now, we were in logistics systems or supply chains. We've been talking about end-to-end transportation, end-to-end logistics. Everything is chained. We are talking about peer-to-peer. We know the logistic without last mile. Today, it's a last mile. And we are adding the value and the technology of the last mile into those new phenomena called supply networks. And the last but not least, the points of interaction rather than the integration. The port and the surrounding of the port, and then we must take a port as one of the intelligent nodes in such a huge relations and transactions and interactions into the supply chain network. So that was the view, that was my goal, how to make the research and presentation of such a new phenomena. So, well, let's start with the key drivers. Oops. Key drivers are not driving me through. Oh, yeah. Cyber-physical systems. So, the whole system is based on the key emerging technologies and key enabling technologies. Enabling, that actually means that emerging technology have been implemented on instantiated into the enabling technology. Of course, we must respect the fact that in here we have a huge list of such technologies. Internet of Things, quantum Internet of Things, Internet of everything, not just think. We have started by the embedded systems, by the embedded dynamics in the thing, and we are building the mechatronic systems, trying to tie together all those embedded units, focus to make some reasonable achievement, to make the target. We are coping with robots and robotic systems. One robot, a bunch of robots, collaborative robotic systems, collaborative people robotic systems, and so on and so on. We know that today it's quite a novel thing to design the systems, the machines talking to each other, machine-to-machine communication over the cloud. Not. So, how? We are today talking about the fog computing. Last morning, there was a lot of fog in Zagreb. We are talking about the dew computing, and machine-to-machine communications actually enters into the field of dew computing. Have you ever heard about these computing paradigms? Hopefully, yes. So, the next thing are networked sensor systems. Sensors all around us, based on the Internet of Things, based on the radio frequency identifiers, RFIDs, or some near-field communication technologies, providing us that each thing can have its own digital twin, the system as a clone, but the digital twin is not the right clone of some physical system. It's a digital twin. And we can make the operations over and on the digital twins. Operating the digital twins, we are operating the actual physical system. And of course, in the space technologies or the enterprises in the space are enabled by the digital twin of the space shuttle, of the shuttle on the Mars, or whatever technology in there. Here are the computer and communication systems. And hyper-performance computing is just a commodity. It's a service. You can just get it. Not think, oh, how many capacities, how many transistors, what data center, and so on we have to have in order to provide super fast decision supports in each and every transaction in a network environment through the sensors and the huge amount of data. So here are the new computing frontiers: quantum computing, biocomputing, human brain-like computing technologies. And this is the reality. It enables something. We'll see later on what's enabled by that. Here is the virtual and augmented reality, the artificial intelligence, cognitive systems based on the artificial intelligence, as well as the robotics as the integration point for the artificial intelligence, for the cognitive systems, and the real intelligence in the surroundings. Big data, blockchain technology. The title of one paper or presentation is relates to the blockchain technologies. It's not Bitcoin. And bio-neurotechnologies, additive productions. Can you imagine the port with the 3D printers in which we can make some artificials, some products, rather than transport the products? Maybe we will transport something else. Maybe the components, maybe the fluids, maybe whatever, maybe. Okay, then here is the new materials, nanomaterials. Here is the smart energy systems, and especially important how to take the energy from the surroundings, not from the batteries. These are the new frontiers of research. And if we talk about the 2030, that will be the enabling technology. With the geoengineering, because of substantial issues, how to survive on the planet today. The space technologies, not only for the space research, but for secured quantum communication systems enabled by the satellite, quantum satellite links. And a couple of weeks ago, you were reading maybe that there was a video conference between the Beijing and Vienna, Austria, which was fully arranged and executed in a quantum security protected communication alliance. So it's a new satellite network, not only geoposition satellites, UK or whatever satellite system. And of course, the autonomy, not only the vehicles, but the autonomy vehicles, autonomy ships, trams, trains, even the containers. So if we know that this is the component of cyber physical systems, we must know that we have a lot of, what's that? Genesis to time, that we do have the system of systems. And previous lecturer or presenter was illustrating the system of systems and the complexity in building up the cooperative system of systems. And of course, that we are entering into some new phenomena called ambient intelligence. Intelligence in the ambient, in here, in a hotel, in all around our movement in space and time. Of course, here are the ethical and security aspects of cyber physical system, and we must respect that in order to protect chaos and something even bigger. But all those cyber physical systems are building a new phenomena called digital twins. Let's take a look at the definition. The digital twin is dynamic digital representation of an industrial asset that enables companies to better understand and predict the performance of their machines and find the new revenue streams and change the way their business operates today. Is the General Electric definition. There's a lot of other ones. So if you want to understand the phenomena of digital twins, we must neglect the emergence of the digital twins. We must know that they are based on the Internet of Things and the background, the digital background for anyone thinks. We must respect the new values which are coming with the digital twins, and this has to be, or in some instances, it are the business imperatives you might or might not to know the existence for. What are the impacts? Let's make some view on them. For areas, the improvements in the manufacturing processes, in smart factories, in 3D processing systems, in flexible production systems, the efficient predictive maintenance of ships, of any transportation units, and the fleet, the new products based on real-world usage of existing products. For shipping, for some illustrations, this is the digital twin of the real ship. And we can manage the real ship by managing the digital twin in real time. And we can come close to the ship without the staff, the autonomous transportation unit. For railway, for example, almost the same. For human individual, we are supposed to have our digital twins. In the medicine, the medical record, for example, is the medical digital twin of our body, of ourselves. And we are getting closer to the digital twins based on the superintelligence. So I'm opening a new theme and a new issue, for example. So the supply chain is the digital twin, is transforming itself from the set of sequences into the cognitive chains and, of course, into the network and digital supply networks. So the whole digital twins are based on the blockchain technologies, network, blockchain, the distributed general ledger with the cryptographics, with the systems, quantum cryptography, and so on and so on. So if we do know that the cyber-physical systems, that the supply networks are the existent even today, let's have a look how does it automate the traffic. Ships will sail on the sea without crew. Intelligent solution. Transport will seek the quickest and most energy efficient routes. In the short, medium term, we must know that the digital ship to the intelligent ship, and it will be just a new smart system of systems. The smart port, the smart ship, the smart container, the smart package, the smart product. And when we talk about the smart, whatever the definition could be, we must respect. But in the long-term period, we are skipping from the digital ship, intelligent ship, to the fully autonomous ship. Autonomous, as any of us is actually autonomous system. We have our autonomy. For the containers, we are jumping into a new generation of smart containers and real-time container monitoring through high-tech devices and the robot containers. Robot containers. Containers with the autonomy of moving as a robot, not the humanoid robot, but the container, automatic robots. And of course, ports as the smart ports and ultimate smart ports as the part of holonic system, holon, the intelligence with all the infrastructure which is practically in the port. I will try to speed up. What are the expected changes? And to illustrate, I'm coming up to the couple of illustrations. So here we can see the map with the nodes and the routes. Not a chain, a sequential chain, the map. Respecting the map, we can actually take a look on the virtual instance of holonic supply chain. So if we do have the instances of autonomy and intelligence, the structure and the relations between them, we can recognize that there are a pair, stimulus and response pairs. Whatever point of stimulus comes into the network will actually realize the response. And not only one, different stimuluses, and life is full of different stimuluses, can touch the different holons in the networks. And the networks, or the network, temporal network, will have the response as the final and complete outcome. And of course, here we can see a lot of stimulus-response pairs. It's like the thundering. If we have the ground and the cloud, the thunder light comes as the instance of such a virtual system. So when we talk about the supply chain networks, we must recognize that existing technology, enabling technology, actually bring us very close to the thundering in a cloud and ground somehow. Okay, it should be the collaborative. It's raising complexity, the system of systems, with the cognitive technologies embedded even on the elementary level of the artifact, whatever it could be, the thing. Of course, it could be and self-optimizing, well-orchestrated supply chain. Here we can see what is the role of the seaport of anything. There is a future scenario. The seaport as the data factory, as the intelligent system as a whole, and every part of the seaport as the intelligent system. And the mass of interactions of such a collective intelligent transactions and self-organizing system in ports and the surrounding because of the last mile, because of transformation from end to end to point, and all the features as the flexible warehouse systems which enables us to unpack the container, for example, and bring the final product or service the final product to the endpoint destination. So, respecting all those technologies, here are just a few concluding remarks. Proactively, in local, national, and global megatrends, in order to build and participate with the capacities in there, building the clusters and networks to establish mega clusters, if we respect smart specialization strategy, and of course, it should be based on the triple helix or quadruple on whatever helix. It's not just the issue on the port authority, it's not the investors, it should be the national understanding and the efforts and the international, especially respecting Baltic-Adriatic corridor. So that's my presentation. I spent a little bit more minutes, but okay, it's somehow the first speaker was not here.
Thank you very much.